This time I have a Sony ACV30 power supply. This was a power supply that was with the majority of the 8mm cameras that used a 6-volt battery. It was a charger and a power supply. There's one of my own. This one's got a problem. Let's check it out. This time we're going to do a video on an ACV30, which is my power supply. I just discovered that this power supply has a bit of a problem. Now watch, when I connect the camera up in camera mode, I'm going to have a really bad picture, but the picture's fine when I connect it with my external supply. So let's start by connecting my external supply. Show you that the picture on the camera looks fantastic. So there it is connected, and the picture looks fantastic. No problem. Okay, now let me put on the ACV30. Picture's all snow and it kind of fades in and out. If I tap the power supply, this power supply has a problem. I just discovered this by accident because I thought this power supply was working fine, until I went to do a final test on the camera that I just fixed and found that the power supply was noisy. I thought, what the hell? The picture was perfect when I was testing it. I just happened to move the power supply and oh, the picture cleared up. So we got a problem with this power supply. Let's find out what's wrong with it. Oh, this is a switching power supply, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the power and leave it connected so that it's going to drain out all the power from the capacitors, which should be drained by now. And then we're going to open the power supply up and see what has gone wrong. It could be a connection inside there, or it could be a component that's failed. It is, it is old. I mean, I will admit that. This is, this is 30 years old or older. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's capacitors bad in here as well, because again, even though it hasn't seen much use, because I haven't used these cameras and this type of camera in a long time, and I just use this for testing equipment. But since it's my test power supply, I better make sure that it works. Okay, so we're going to pop it apart, and it should lift right apart. If it plugs in, unplug that. Okay. Alright, so we got our power jack is down here. Connections look okay to that. This is the battery charge jack here. It could be the power jack too, it could just be oxidated. But I want to check the actual power supply itself. We'll measure these capacitors and see how they look. They're probably okay, but the only way to tell, of course, will be to test it. Now, this can hold a charge for a while. There's a big capacitor in here that could hold a charge. It is covered by a shield. So before I get my fingers in there, I'm going to make sure it's discharged. So we're going to remove these two screws that hold this shield cover in place. It's kind of spring held together. Springy, I should say. Remove the two screws. And now I can slide off the shield and remove the plastic guard. This is where high voltage might live. So we'll just check the meter, check the voltage with the meter, and see whether that cap has discharged itself. It should have. It should have discharged itself because the power supply was running when I unplugged it, and indeed it only has 1.5 volts. So we don't have to worry too much about that. The caps that I'm concerned with is the two over here in the secondary. We'll just make sure that they are shorted out first of all. Make sure that there's no charge on either of them. And then I'll measure them and make sure. And then we'll just check the ESR. So there's no charge on either of these caps. They are both 0. So now we're just going to check the ESR and see how the ESR looks. I don't expect the ESR to be high. 0.2, that's okay. 0.08. So the two caps in here are fine. I don't see anything particularly bad in here. I'm going to go over a few of the connections on things such as the regulators, the transistors, and the diode block. And we'll check the connections on the where the cable plugs in. I'll give that a shot of cleaner. The diode block looks okay. The capacitor ESR tests fine. There's nothing to be worried about. And I wouldn't expect it to be bad just because of, as I said, the use that this has had over the years has been minimal. This diode here looks like the connection's bad right there. Looking at it with my magnifiers on. This one connection here looks kind of flaky. Same with this one. I don't know where this power supply came from, because the only camera I think I've used, well, my TR81 had one of these, and my V5000 had one. Now, when I sold the V5000, the power supply would have gone with it. I think the V5000 used the same one. This might have been from my TR81. And it wouldn't have been used as a power supply much because I didn't, like I've always had a separate playback machine for the tapes. So I never used the camera to play back, so it would have been used just as a battery charger for the most part. I started using it as a test power supply when I started fixing the cameras here in the workshop. Say it did crop up today, and that was kind of interesting to see that happen. I thought for a minute there that the camera had a problem. I was like, what the hell? I just fixed this thing. What's going on? And then I realized that it was the power supply that was causing it. When I picked it up and just kind of moved it, it shifted. And said, oh. So if you got a picture with snow on a camera and you're using one of these power supplies, check it out. I'm just checking these connections. These are the plugs that go to the other connector, and I'll check those as well on the other side. The rest of these don't look to be in bad shape. Something like that. And then the metal cover went over top of it like this. It was held in place by a couple screws. You might wonder why these were shielded as well as they were. Well, that was the FCC. The FCC back in the late 80s and early 90s was very concerned about switch mode power supplies causing interference to AM radio. So basically anything that had a switch mode power supply in it had to be really well shielded because they were of those concerns of interference. So I'm just going to go over the other side of that plug. So we'll put this back in into its position. It sits down in here like this. And then the other board plugs into it. So it sits down in the base. There's a slot that it goes in. There's a little switch over here that gets activated when you put the battery on to charge it up. And then this other board just plugs in. It slides in like this and it lines up with the two tabs, and then it'll lock in place. Like that. Put the bottom cover on. and the 2 screws. I'm going to give this a shot of cleaner. I'm just going to use some neutral on here. Put the shot of cleaner down into that socket and onto the end of the plug here. Make a good electrical connection. Okay, I'll power the unit up. You see the power lights come on. Plug in the camera. There we go. It's looking a little better. Now it doesn't do what it was doing before when I tapped the power supply. So it probably was just the contact where the power plug went into the base here. More likely it was just that was causing the problem. Anyway, we've got this one up and running again. Now the next time I get another camera, I can rely on this power supply knowing that it's going to be working properly. That was weird because, say, it was working and then it wasn't. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. See how clear it comes on now. Unplug it. Plug it back in. Looking good. All right, thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.